So what if the Burning Crusade expansion never came out and Vanilla evolved into a different animal? No retail WoW systems, selfie cameras or LFR, just pure, perfect vanilla, but with new content, refined game and class changes to counter the irritating low quality of life stuff, and vanilla with undead paladins? Well, today we're going to be looking at the Classic Plus private server project Epoch, a very ambitious project. This server released a month ago and aims to give players an expanded vanilla WoW experience. With over 1,000 new quests, new zones, world bosses, rares, transportation routes, new class and race combos, rebalanced racials so you can actually choose whatever racials you actually want, and they have changed slightly, and there's been some extra cosmetics added, profession overhaul, transmog collection tab, and many more quality of life and cool features. Join me as we go on a journey to have a look at all of these Classic Plus servers and see which ones are interesting. Before we dive in, guys, please do me a solid to subscribe to the channel. We're going to be doing a lot of Classic Plus scene videos coming very, very soon. And give me a quick cheeky follow on Instagram. I've got loads of career and huge life updates going to be published there very, very soon. And I still don't have more followers than my sister. So we need to remedy that. I mean, come on, guys. I've given the server a few good hours and I'm fairly impressed, to be honest, mainly by the increased world difficulty that the game has, which I think veteran vanilla players will find quite refreshing, and it makes sense because classes have TBC talents now, which will make them more powerful. By the way, guys, if you are playing any version of Classic WoW or Retail right now, by far the fastest step-by-step leveling guide, literally designed by the world record holding speed levelers in the game, is Rested XP. It also has so many useful features like a safer version for hardcore, profession power leveling and gold making, along with a lot of class specific tips. You'll also find an optimal quest preparation route for the launch of TBC Classic and Mr. Pandari on there that you can start working on right now, so check out the description of the video for more information on that add-on. I had to start our journey trying out the weird new class to race combo, the Undead Paladin. It probably feels a bit weird thinking about an Undead Paladin. I mean, how would that work? But there are undead priests, and the server does make the effort to explain the lore behind this thing. I think immediately, because I'm playing a combo that doesn't exist in any version of the game officially, it actually becomes very fun in a weird way, and I think it's just because of the undead. You know, well, first of all, it is just totally new. It's like a very new way to play World of Warcraft, and the undead have always had very cool melee and spellcasting animations, and as a paladin, you get to experience both in conjunction with each other, so it's just something like, it's hard to explain, it's something you've just never experienced before, and it feels pretty good. So honestly, the starting area 1 to 5 was a little underwhelming. I think it's because I wasn't expecting the starting area, you know, to have the same mundane quests. I thought they would change the introduction quest to make them more interesting rather than adding a couple of new quests to the starting area. The starting areas were largely just the same, but once you get into the zone where you start to level, 5 to 12, that's when things get interesting. Some of the starting zones in the original vanilla do feel very unfinished. Ironically, I think the human one feels the most unfinished. You know, there's areas and mobs with no quests attached to them, and they're just there as filler, and there's some quest chains that just end abruptly. What Epoch has done very well is making the game feel like they've restored and refined Vanilla's content. It's like the director's cut of Classic WoW. That's the best way I can describe it. For instance, the quest chain at War with the Scarlet Crusade had me searching all around the Terraceville Glades in search of many new Scarlet Crusade mini-bosses, and this was good, challenging low-level content as the named mob always had a few mates, and there's absolutely no chance a class like a warrior or a rogue would have been able to solo these without a potion and some buffs. There's also a few new caves to explore, one with slime creatures inside, and the other was a Scarlet Crusade mining operation. There's also a number of new Scarlet Crusade camps in the zone, making the game really feel like the corners of the map have been filled. Honestly, you could spend another 4 hours questing in the starting area, and probably get all the way up to level 14 or 15 before going to the next zone, which I think is what Blizzard actually originally intended with Vanilla, to be honest, because it always did feel like you were underleveled when you were going to your third zone in Vanilla WoW. Like, going to the Barrens at level 10 was never a good idea. There was also this cool caravan that can actually take you to the next zone much faster, so you didn't have to do that long slog walk all the way to the Sepulchre. Unfortunately, the leveling is purely at Vanilla's pace, but I guess some people enjoy that, so it does feel very slow. I would have preferred the leveling speed of the Burning Crusade or Wrath of the Lich King, but at least we do get the Burning Crusade talents, and some of the talents have actually been changed actually. I would recommend looking at the class changes before picking a class because there's quite a lot. It's a very simple change, and at certain levels you would get 2 talent points instead of, 1. So that you can fill up the talent trees as much as you could do in TBC, and this will make the classes automatically far more interesting and balanced. I think for a while people have always wondered what it'd be like to play vanilla content with TBC talents, and now you can, and it does feel much better. Classes will no longer be pigeonholed into one role, and there's a chance your class will actually be able to spam 2 buttons instead of 1, so that's good. I definitely think also with the difficulty of the open world being increased, it will encourage more group content to form, but also for you to optimise your character a bit more to ease the pace of levelling, like running dungeons or chasing certain quests to acquire powerful items for your class instead of just rushing all of the time. Because I don't know about you guys, but I've played vanilla so much and I just know where to go and what to do, which is why, again, I think veteran players will like this server a lot because obviously it's changed a lot, the content itself, but they've made the game much more challenging. It really does make you feel sometimes like a little bit of a noob, like that same noob who booted the game back up in 2004. I had a little look at how a transmog works in the game and I was very impressed, and how seamless and easy it is to use, to be honest, because it just naturally fits into the game and you don't have to worry about keeping items in your inventory. It works exactly how it does on retail. You collect an appearance and then you have it on your character permanently, and then you can go and use it for transmog. If you progress on the server further than I did, you'll also discover that the dungeons have been expanded with new areas, and some have just had a massive makeover, to be honest. If you remember Wailing Caverns, honestly it's probably one of the most bland dungeons in the game, but Project Epoch have basically made it feel more like a secret lagoon in Vietnam or something. It's very lush, and it does have to be said. I mean, just look how good the final boss room looks in this dungeon now. I mean, it looks even better than the boss room for Raggy. Now, the server hasn't been without its bugs. I did find some quests that just didn't work, and a few other people have reported certain class abilities not working, and you will see people complaining about bugs on the Discord. But the server isn't unplayable. It's like playing any new MMO launch, really. You should expect there to be bugs when the game is, more stressed by a larger influx of players. People also seem to be disappointed with how hunters were nerfed too much based on how OP they were in low-level content, and now they suck for endgame. And apparently the endgame dungeons are very difficult, which is fine for veteran players, but maybe not for most players. Engineering feels underpowered instead of balanced with the other professions. Fair enough, it was very OP in vanilla, but it didn't have to be nerfed to the point where people lose motivation to even pick it. Also, for some reason, Dungeon XP is back to being private server crap. Okay, private vanilla servers always had terrible mob kill XP in 5-man dungeons on elite mobs, but in Classic, WoW, they fixed this so it didn't feel like when you were doing a dungeon run, it was a detriment to your leveling speed, but on this server it kinda does. But on the upside, they did introduce experience to PvP, so now you can have a lot of fun doing low-level PvP without feeling like you're wasting time or going up against an army of twinks or something. This is something I love personally because, honestly, I think low-level PvP is massively underrated. I swear some of the most fun I've had playing WoW has just been chilling and doing some low-level PGs or chasing people around in Stranglethorn Vale. Now, the minor issue of this server is that it kind of has some complications. Now, many of the original Epoch devs received cease and desist letters and have stepped down from the project. The website has been taken down also. But the other private server, Ascension, has absorbed the server and is running it on their own servers, so you can still play the game, and it has a very high active population of over 4,000 players most of the time when I've been online. Now, the endgame content hasn't been released, and people are complaining that they've run out of stuff to do, and that makes sense. There's only a certain amount of time you can run Strathfoam and Scholarmonts before you want to go outside and sniff some autumn leaves. But the server is being worked on. There are bug fixes and patches happening on server resets from time to time, but the project will be backseated at the moment because they are working on a massive release for a different server, for Ascension first. The cease and desist has just come at a bad time for the new developers who will be working on the project. But if you're watching this now and you haven't started playing yet, by the time you hit 60, I would be very surprised if they haven't released the first Phase 1 of raid content by the time you hit level 60. I don't think the Ascension team would just abandon the server. I mean, it's already got a very big and keen audience, plus the groundwork of what's, been done so far is extremely impressive. It is very unique in its design, and there's a lot more content that was in development that, you know, hasn't been added to the game yet. So it will be interesting to see where this project goes into the future. But anyway guys, my name is Metagoblin. To my next video, ciao.